Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to be testing all of the different driving modes in my brand new 2025 EcoBoost Premium Mustang. If you have any questions about this car, make sure you leave them down below in the comments and I'll do my absolute best to answer you guys. But keep in mind, this thing is a little bit of a learning curve even for me, being a young guy and having a tech-related job. The technology in this thing takes a little bit of time to learn. I've only owned this car for about 3 months at this point, so be patient with me. But now let's go ahead and get this thing on the highway and see what these different driving modes can actually do. While I'm sitting here in park, before I forget all the different drive modes, I'm gonna walk you guys through every different mode that you can choose from in this car. So automatically it's gonna put it in normal right here. And then from normal, we got custom, which custom I haven't even tried to mess with yet. So I might do a whole nother video just to mess around with that and try and create my own custom driving mode in this car. Then if we go past that, we got slippery, which is good for wet and rainy conditions. Drag strip, which I have not played with at all, and it shows a GT Mustang, even though this is an EcoBoost, kind of funny. Then up above that, we got track, which again, I don't really know what that does. It looks like it turns off the traction control. Yeah. So it looks like it turns off the traction control from what it looks like to me. So if I do put it in that mode, I'm going to be really careful because I don't want to lose traction. It's not wet or anything today, but I'm still going to be safe. Then we also got sport mode, which I like to put it in sport mode every once in a while because it really kicks in the boost and it gets you going up quick on the highway and stuff. But I don't like to put it in sport a lot because it's going to keep your RPMs really high and it's going to run the transmission a lot harder, which I don't want to blow out the motor and the transmission in this car, so I try not to put it in sport too much. That's enough me talking. Let's go ahead and get this thing on the road and try them out. And if you guys are not subscribed, y'all better go ahead and subscribe because I cannot even describe how bad the traffic was just getting out here today to film this video for you guys. It was a total nightmare just getting out here. I was supposed to film this video about an hour ago, but I'm barely even getting to it because they had the highway closed down a little ways, so I couldn't even film the video for you guys at all. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna start off in normal mode, and just to prove it to y'all, I'm in sport mode actually, so I'll change that back to normal mode. It's a good thing I took a look at that. And then I will go ahead and get my car up on the interstate and give it some gas in a normal mode, and then we'll compare to some of the other modes. And this auto stop start is going to be turned off because I absolutely hate that feature in this car. Totally useless feature they even put in new cars anymore. There's no way that is saving gas. There's absolutely no way. All right, here we go. Hopefully I can get on the highway without any more traffic. You guys can see it's like a construction zone all over this stupid city. I honestly cannot take it anymore. I'm probably gonna move out of this place really soon because you cannot even get anywhere in the city anymore. Oh man, there's like a bunch of people coming right now. All right, well, we're gonna gun it. Here we go, normal mode, starting off. So that was me flooring it. And what I'm not gonna do is break any speed limits or break any laws today. And I do not encourage you guys to break any laws or break the speed limit either, okay? I do not want to be held responsible because you guys are dumb, okay? Be respectful of other people on the road. All right, so now that I'm done. All right, so now that I'm done with the disclaimer, we'll keep getting into it. And someday I'll have to come up here if I ever have enough money and buy a supercar. Oh, I already missed the sorry, I was looking at the Ferrari dealership. I meant to get on the highway over there though for you guys. All right, so we'll have to go down one more and then we'll get it up on the interstate and give it a little more gas. I think the speed limit is about 45, 50 here, so I don't really want to break that mark because I'm not going to record myself breaking the speed limit here because I'm not an idiot. All right, So this did turn out good because I'm gonna be able to give it some gas at this light. So here we are, still in normal mode. Gonna give it some gas, not just gonna floor it though, because you will lose traction in this car if you just decide to floor it from a standstill, so just be careful with that. Today, I also have traction control on, not gonna be turning that off because it's just not a good idea. It looks like in track mode or something though, it might turn off the traction control. So I'll just have to be a little bit careful with that today for you guys, because this is my daily driver and I am not going to wreck it because I'm not gonna risk my safety and I don't wanna ruin this car. I don't know what that's doing, guys. I pressed this yellow button on the GoPro thing. I don't know what that means. So hopefully this comes out okay. Hopefully I didn't screw it up or something. But yeah. All right, if this light ever actually goes green, we'll give it some gas today. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and give it some gas. Gonna be careful. That's about half. It's about 3/4. So pretty good, guys, even in normal mode. And this mode, I usually drive it in normal more than 90% of the time, just because you're gonna get the best gas mileage and it's not gonna strain the engine and transmission too hard, which I don't wanna blow up this car like I was saying earlier, because it's my daily driver. So I personally drive it around most of the time just in normal mode. All right, let's go ahead and get over. So I think you guys get normal mode already. Let's try out now slippery, see if that does anything. I don't think it's really gonna do much because the roads are not slick right now. So we'll go ahead, put it in slippery. This is really gonna be more useful for wet and rainy conditions. And if you start to lose traction, and I've tested it out in some other videos for you guys that I'll link to down below in the description, it'll really help you regain traction fast. And if you have traction control on with slippery mode in wet and rainy conditions, it really makes this car quite safe. And I'm glad Ford includes that feature, because these things are notorious for losing traction and being extremely dangerous in wet and rainy conditions. Again, if you drive like a psycho, it's not gonna save you, okay, especially in wet and rainy conditions. So you still have to use proper judgment, but it just makes it a lot more safe. And if you're driving just normal, you won't run into any problems. All right, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna drive everybody on the highway absolutely nuts. Go ahead and slow it down a little bit, and then give it some gas in slippery mode so you guys can see how much of a punch it has on slippery mode. So I'll go ahead and try and slow down to 50, and then I'll go ahead and gas it, because I don't want to break the speed limit, because it's really easy in this car to break the speed limit if you're not careful. All right, so here we are. Darn, this car doesn't even want to slow down. All right, floor it right here. Oh yeah, so pretty good. You guys can see RPM's running a little bit high there, which I'm not a big fan of, but you guys can see the slippery mode is not really going to be any different from the normal mode, especially if the roads aren't slick and you're just going straight like I'm going here. Really, where the slippery mode is going to kick in is when you're in a turn, or you lose traction for a second, on a wet and slippery road. It's gonna help you regain that traction really fast. But honestly, it's really hard to get it to lose traction. You have to go pretty crazy and be really aggressive. And even then, it's still pretty hard to lose traction in this car unless you're purposely trying to do so. All right, so now what we're gonna do is get a little more exciting. Slippery mode, it's good. I like to use it, but not on a normal sunny day like this. I only use it in wet and rainy conditions. All right, let's go ahead. Doing 60. Drag strip. Go ahead and try this out. I honestly have no idea what this mode does. I have never tried this out. So I'm assuming this is for the drag strip, but that's literally all I know about this driving mode, y'all. Okay, so here we are. We're gonna get down to 50, then we're gonna gas it. Oh, okay, yeah. That has a little bit more of a punch than slippery and normal did for sure. And again, not gonna be breaking the speed limit here, but drag strip definitely packs more of a punch. So definitely like that mode. So definitely like the drag strip mode, but obviously I'm not really gonna put it in that mode at all. unless I actually take this thing to like a track or something. All right, so now we're gonna get a little bit more dangerous, but still gonna be safe. So we're gonna go up one more. We're gonna hit track mode. This turns off the traction control, so I'm gonna be really careful with this one. So what I'm gonna do is get over, drive everyone absolutely crazy by slowing down. All right, so I'm assuming this is gonna be the optimal performance mode, meaning you're gonna get the best speed and the best power out of this mode. I'm assuming, but it might be sport mode, so I already forgot the name. What am I in now? All right, so we're in track. Assuming this is gonna give us the most power, but we'll go ahead and give it a shot. Go ahead and slow down to about 50. Drive everybody nuts. And then we'll give it some gas here. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, I don't know if you guys can hear that turbo and the engine really boosting in. You guys can see it's holding my RPMs really high, but I just don't want to accelerate through the high RPMs because then I'm going to be breaking the speed limit, which I don't want to do again. We got a 70 speed limit, so that's as far as I'm going to push it today. So I don't want to get myself in trouble. You guys can understand that. All right, so track mode, man. That was a lot of fun giving it some gas there. Even with the traction control off, as you guys can see, I didn't lose traction at all though. But again, I'm just on a straight path. I'm not turning, doing anything crazy. The roads aren't wet, but if the roads are wet, you're trying to turn, maneuver a little bit, do not turn off the traction control, guys, because you do not want to get in trouble. And even right now, I'm going to get out of this mode because I want to go back to a mode where I have traction control on. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch. And if you guys have played with these modes in the EcoBoost or maybe even the GT Mustang, let me know your experience down below. I'm really new to a lot of this stuff, so I might not be explaining it in the best way, I guess I could say here. Okay, man, this area up here is getting real built up. I haven't been up this way in a long time. All right, now what we're gonna do, we are in track. Now we're going to put it in sport. What I'm talking about. All right, let's go ahead and slow down a little bit. Traction control is on, it's not off, so a little bit safer in sport. And this I have played with before. You're gonna get a lot of power out of the sport mode because it's gonna run the RPMs higher and it's gonna run the transmission a little harder as well. So let's go ahead and slow down to about 50. All right, under 50, then we'll give it some gas. Oh, so you guys can see, stopping right at 70. So it's running the RPMs really high. I'm actually starting to smell a little bit of a burn smell. That might just be because my car is new, so keep that in mind. But I actually am smelling the engine and the turbocharger running a little bit harder and a little bit hotter. Because obviously I'm riding it a little bit hard by putting it in sport mode and flooring it and stuff. All right, so we'll go ahead and get off. So sport mode, pretty sweet. Oh yeah, you guys can see that it is a lot of fun putting it in sport mode, but you just want to be careful because it's going to ride your engine and your transmission a lot harder than it normally would. Going to go ahead and switch back into normal mode, which honestly, again, like I was saying earlier, is the mode that I have on most of the time, just because I want to try and get good gas mileage and I don't want to run the engine and the transmission hot all the time. So this is normally the mode that I personally have my car in, and it honestly for daily driving has plenty of power for me. I know some of you guys like to complain, oh, it's not the GT and everything, but this thing, man, if y'all haven't tried it out, if y'all haven't test driven it, really go give it a shot, man, because I used to be a hater and a skeptic of the EcoBoost. I was like, 4-cylinder turbo, lame. But the first time I went and checked it out and gave it a shot, I was really impressed with it. All right, so that was a quick sneak peek at all of the different driving modes in the EcoBoost Mustang. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit and you guys got a taste of what this EcoBoost Mustang has to offer. I gotta go ahead now and run into the grocery store, and it's a Saturday at about 12:30, so it looks like it's gonna be an absolute nightmare. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys again for another video. Make sure you check out some of the videos where I do a more in-depth review over this car, and I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.